Timestamps can be found in the description. Today we're going to talk about the movie Censor. Censor can be found on Hulu if you wish to watch it. Personally, take this with a grain of salt, whatever. I did not enjoy this film. People tried to describe it early on as a slow burn, but in order for something to be a slow burn, it has to actually ignite and catch your attention for you to care. I was struggling staying awake during it, and I watched it at like lunchtime. It was just way too slow for my liking, but let's discuss it like mature adults, shall we? Here's the quick run of it. After viewing a strangely familiar video nasty, Enid, a film censor, sets out to solve the past mystery of her sister's disappearance, embarking on a quest that dissolves the line between fiction and reality. This is taking place in 1985. And yes, I have Wikipedia up again. We're going to just break down the entirety of the film. We're going to figure it out. Not figure it out. We're going to discuss it. It takes place in 1985 in England. There were things called, at the time, they were worried that horror films were going to begin rotting people's minds, mostly the children, and they would call them video nasties, aka a lot of the classics like Wolfman and things along those lines, like old Chucky's and things around those topics, when it was getting a little bit too gruesome just to be gruesome at the time, and that's like they're cult classics now. But let's discuss the first paragraph in the plot. In 1985, Enid Baines works for the British Board of Film Classification during the height of the video nasty controversy. Enid's co-workers call her Little Miss Perfect due to her strictness in recommending that violent content be cut or banned. While Enid is having dinner with her parents, they discuss the disappearance of Enid's sister Nina when they were little. Enid's parents have since declared Nina legally dead, but Enid is convinced that her sister is still missing. Let's break down the first part of it. First part of this comes down to pretty much you're getting a basic description of her day-to-day life, and her facial expression does not change from the first minute to maybe the first hour mark, and it's this. The entire movie. Like, she shows, like, toward the end of the movie that she can show freak out, but if you're just a stone, I don't get it. Like, you're watching what's known to be some of the, like, most gruesome things in your time, and yet since it's your job, you're now nullified to all of it, and you'll just watch and write down, it's like, okay, we need to get rid of the eye gouging scene, it must go, so on and so forth. And we'll cut to, it shows like brief little glimpses of her and her little sister like hanging out in the woods, and they're playing a game where one of them closes their eyes and spins around 10 times, and she's missing now. The parents want to meet up with her for lunch, and to give her the death certificate, and it's been like several years, like 10-15 years. They're finally like writing it down as a death certificate now, and we're gonna show it over lunch. Let's go to the next one, shall we? Shortly after a man murders his wife and children, a tabloid newspaper links the killings to a film Enid had rated several months prior, naming her as the censor who approved it. Enid starts to receive phone calls threatening and insulting her on a regular basis. One day, Enid is approached by Doug Smart, a film producer who claims that a veteran horror director named Frederick North had personally requested that she screen one of his old films, Don't Go in the Church. During the screening, Enid notices that events depicted parallel her own memories of her sister's disappearance. That pretty much covers it. There's no like, it's just matter of fact. It's just very like, hey, the thing it doesn't say in the Wikipedia is the fact that during the film that they censored, somebody cuts off his wife's face and eats it. Sorry. And surely enough, that guy also, who committed the murders on his wife and 2 children, did the same. So now she's starting to get these phone calls calling her a monster, and like how she should, like, it's nothing. It's nothing. Like to put it in common words, she's just going in and out of her regular day. And she's starting to notice that after, watching Don't Go Into the Woods, she's starting to realize that, wait, I think there was a building where we were hiding and seeking or playing our spin around game. What do we? Oh man, I guess it has to be tied together. Uh, all right. I didn't need an hour to get to that point. Like it's an hour and 20. It probably takes 40 minutes to get there. Let's go to the next one. Investigating North further by acquiring a copy of one of his old band films, Enid notices that the film's lead, Alice Lee, bears a resemblance to her missing sister. Enid soon becomes obsessed with meeting North, believing that Lee is her missing sister and needs to be saved from the exploitation film industry. When Enid visits Smart, hoping to learn North's whereabouts, he tells her that North is making a sequel to Don't Go in the Church near his home. Enid rejects Smart, causing him to become more aggressive before Enid pushes him back, tripping and accidentally impaling him on a film award. Smart dies as Enid stares in shock, unable to proceed what happened. That's not what happens in the film. Once again, Wikipedia is off. Let's discuss it. Enid goes to a local film place where she knows that people are getting, or she's going to look for a horror film, and she notices that someone's getting one that she already has previously banned. She tries to show off the fact that she enjoys these types of films by bringing up a couple of raunchy, gross films that she finds her personal favorites. Guy gives her a copy of this other movie that has this, one of his other movies that has this girl in it, Alice. That's right. She goes to her parents, pretty much saying she looks exactly like what the crime scene artist, I can't think of what they're called right now, it doesn't matter, like the sketch artist said she would look like now. So she's like really hammering it home, and her dad and mom are both just shouting pretty much at her. It's like, we told you to let this go. Every time we get closer to closure, you don't let us close. Besides that, she goes to Smart's house, trying to figure out where the filming of this next film is. Yeah, she visits Smart's house by like pretty much breaking into her own location and looking at Don't Go in the Woods, trying to find the address. He makes some attempts at her. She tells him no. He gets upset. She shoves him, and one of his awards goes through the back of his head and kills him. She doesn't stare in shock, unable to process what has happened. She stares up awkwardly through like this off camera, saying, "Thank you for the whiskey. I'll be going home now." Like it. You can't leave stuff like that out, especially in the wiki. Not that everyone reads wikis on freaking horror movies, but like, it's showing her disassociation to this major thing. It shows it instead of I'm in shock, I can't process it. It is instead I just killed a man. We only have 2 more paragraphs left. Let's try to knock them all out at once. I don't want to talk about this film as much as I can. After stealing North's address from her work, Enid finds the set of North's latest film, where he and the crew assume her to be an actress. During a climactic scene, Enid kills an actor by the name of Charles with an axe, thinking that he was going to hurt her sister. A terrified Alice frees from Enid as she begs for Alice to please be her before collapsing in the woods. A remote control appears in Enid's hand and she presses a button. Enid is awoken by a seemingly happy version of her sister, thanking Enid for finding her. Nina and Eden leave the woods and drive to their parents' home. During the drive, the car radio announces that all violent films have been banned, crime has been eradicated, and unemployment no longer exists. Enid's fantasy is sporadically interrupted, revealing that she has kidnapped Alice, who is begging Enid's parents to please help her as Enid smiles. Yeah, like she goes to set. Somebody randomly walks out of a trailer saying, "You must be your sister. You must be the sister." She nods. She's like, "All right, come on, sit down for makeup. We were surprised you showed up," and a lot of people didn't, kind of like nodding to the fact that they're during the video nasties, and a lot of people aren't signing up for horror films because they're being ridiculed and like ran out of town. After that, the director of the film, North, I believe his name was, right? I said it like 37 times. North is approaching her, like telling her, you gotta let the evil in, you're evil, this and this and this. Trying, from an outside perspective, it seems like he's trying to get his actress in the character that she's gonna be playing, but Enid's batshit, so she's just like, no, I'm not, no, you don't know me, no. And it's just that for like 5 minutes. Just no, no, yes you are, you're, no. It's not enough. It's really not. After that, she goes into the location that she's seen a couple of times, the church, whatever, for the sequel. She walks in, she sees a gentleman that looks like the Wolf Man that she's seen a couple of like pictures of throughout the film, and he hugs her. Okay. She has an axe, by the way, that doesn't matter. She holds the axe, she turns towards him, begins to walk forward as he holds her sister up, and she begins to walk a little bit further, closer to him. He's like, wait, that's not in the script. As she slashes at his chest, Nina begins to freak out and scream, asking, what the hell are you doing? Over and over again. After she cuts the Wolfman, or the big guy, his like innards now has a voice saying, I am horror. And she keeps swinging down at it. Nina freaks out, screams, runs out the door. The director shows up, says, what have you done? As the sound guy pukes, Enid turns with the axe, cuts off North's head with a very 80s horror style, which I guess is a nod. And she chases after, Edna chases after Nina. Nina's freaking out, running for her life. And she just, please be her. Like, it's just, what? What? That's all I can say about it. Like, what are you... Like, the ending, they do good with the budget they had, but like, hold on, I'm about to find out. I can't see how much they spent on it, but they made $365,000 worldwide in the box office. They gave it... That's what kind of annoys me. Rotten Tomatoes gave this film an 89%. How and why? Like, I don't see it. So let's talk about it. The plot itself is unique. Could it have been shot, or could it have had a better script to make it an actual horror film and not kind of a nod to old 80s horror, and make it an up-to-date actual horror? Like, this was your opportunity to do this, and it did not come off that well. Not to me. Once again, everyone has their own opinion. I'm personally going to be crapping on this film, so turn it off if you don't like it. Like, turn it off if you don't want to hear it. Whatever. Plot itself I found interesting. We'll give it a 6. There. Give the plot, the idea of the plot, not how it came out. How it came out is a 5. Like, I was meh. It was the most vanilla-paced movie I've ever seen. Scares. There's one scare in the film, and it's a shout. Like, they try to go for a cheap jump scare with her mom shouting. Besides that, it's just old 80s horror blood. Like, what do you want? The scares is a 2. The threat, I guess the threat would be her trying to separate her life from these movies that she's been watching so much of, and having the video nasties slowly affect her mind. Like, it's a 3. Is this film for newbies? No. Like, I mean, sure. There's nothing in it. Like, it's nothing. It is just a nothing movie. Do I recommend this movie? No. No, I don't recommend this movie. It's paced. Total score on this film, I'm giving it I've seen some shit movies. This is not a shit movie. It just lacked heart. I don't get it. Maybe I'm just too stupid to get it. I give this film a 4. Censor from 2021 gets a 4. Sundance, come at me. Like, it's just boring. Anyways, that's another day down. I think, what is that now? 3 was more fun than this. 1, 2, 3, 4 days down, everybody. 2, 3, 4. Only 27 to go. I'm going to lose my mind. Everyone have a great day. Take care of yourselves out there. Remember, take care. stay scared.